Good evening, sports card collectible Wild West marketplace friends, collectors, investors, venture hobbyists, whoever is out there. Thank you very much for being here tonight. It is Friday night. It is 9/10/21. Wow. This is my second week with the live shows at night, going really well. Gonna real quickly tonight. We're gonna get to our guests pretty quickly here. I'm really excited. I got Chris, who's known as Vegas Finds. I've known Chris for probably a little over a year now. I've been following his channel last year when it was hot and heavy, and everybody was strapped down in COVID. And got a lot to talk about and catch up with him. I'm going to go over some kind of news and highlights. I do know it's Friday night, and Friday nights are busy nights on YouTube media. So real quickly here, let me go ahead and share my screen. I thought I'd just show this to everybody. Check this out right here. Oops, there we go. There are like 7 lives going on right now, most of which I would be listening to or participating in if I could. Got double coverage, zombie collector, comeback card investor, because I'm Carlos, Sports Card Anonymous, Eloy, and Run Good Life. Just crazy night. So I did want to say shout out to all those guys. And if you're watching me and recorded later on, glad to have you here. Hopefully you guys can cross over. And just like I said, Friday night's very excited and busy night. A few other videos I'll just quickly bring to your attention. I'm excited because Mike and Ty are at the Industry Summit. They're from Bench Clear. This is from Baseball Card Collector, but they're at Bench Clear. They're at the Industry Summit this week in Vegas. So we'll get some insight from the card show. Mike had a video already on the card show, but I'm looking forward to hearing about Industry Summit. What is Fanatics talking about? What's Panini talking about? What's Topps talking about? What's going on? What's going to be like the room, the temperature in the room? I just think it's going to be exciting. Just to see all those people. A lot of cool things going on with Industry Summit. I think in many ways, bigger impacts will come out of the Industry Summit than came out of the National for us in the hobby. Speaking of that, I want to bring your attention. Bench Clear did a really good video tonight with Brent Williams. For some reason, I think I've seen Brent somewhere, and I've heard his story. He's what I would refer to as a power collector / investor, right? He would buy hundreds of cases. He would rip them, break them down, make sets, sell off to customers, sell off to dealers all over the world, country, world, whatever, but used to just rip through tons of sets. He was at the point where he was allocated, right? There are some people who, there's stores who get allocated, and there are individuals based on their buying and the amounts they're buying get allocation. And just short story here, he talks about how last year in the hobby, he could not continue to keep up with the cost of buying because his allocations basically went away. The distributor said, look, we can't allocate those same prices. You have to pay more now. And it drove him out of doing what he was doing. Now, a really upbeat conversation, good story. I think there's a lot of lessons learned here. He talks about, the price of cases. And we're talking about, here's a really interesting point. He's talking about stuff that was only 2 or 3 years ago, right? Where cases were $300 to $500 for a case at the distributor's cost, where today they are now $2,000, $3,000 for the same types of cases. That is the crazy stuff Brent talks about. Gives you great perspective. He also, another interesting thing he talks about here is this. He is a collector that he does sell to, support his, but he's a pure collector in the sense that right now he's into collecting board games. He's at 1,500 board games he's been doing. He's also been collecting shoes. He's collecting. He collects stuff. He loves collecting, and he even says he still likes the cards, except now he's not doing it. Like he used to do 700 cases a year. Another quick thing to point out. I believe, and I want to confirm, because he did talk about National Treasures basketball, but I believe 90% of this was all baseball. Baseball primarily was what he was ripping and enjoying. This is a good segue for, I'll take you over here, Bench Clear, who supports the Daily Hobby, had some really cool new updated articles today, right? One of which was this modern age collectors, right? And we're going to talk about this a little bit tonight, but from NFTs to fine wine, we're entering the golden age of modern collectors. I think that's a really interesting perspective. Now, sports cards might be going through its own correction, change, whatever, up, downs, whatever, but in general, I agree with this. The golden age of collecting, and I think that's the thing, is there's so many things that people collect, and there's a lot of this disposable income that people seem to have that they're willing to collect almost anything for. And there's also what it seems to me too, Brett was talking about in these new shoes, which I have to check these out because I think they're called Cool Dads or something like that. It's about exclusivity, right? They do these drops where the drop is assumed to be limited, and then you go rush for the drop, right? And there's aftermarket. So a really interesting article here. I do recommend checking that. Again, that's from the Daily Hobby here. Another quick couple articles here. Oops, that's the same article. Let me go ahead and kill that one so I don't come back to it. Is NASCAR jumping into NFTs? This I think is interesting. The drop is on Monday. I just read this article tonight, so I don't know much about this. To be honest, I'm trying to focus on sports NFTs. This fits into that, and I will probably look into this. But it looks like a new blockchain to me. It looks like another ecosystem I have to learn. And I'm also thinking to myself, NASCAR. Is the NASCAR community the community that's going to embrace NFTs? I would assume not, but I could be wrong. We'll talk about that more, and we'll see where that goes. Another article here that you can check out on the Daily is a great article here on the deal maker who beat Topps for baseball cards. And again, this is just, when you think about this, like some historic things that maybe we'll look back at 20 years from now, 25 years ago. Hey, heck, 50 years from now, when we're grandparents talking to our kids about how, the pandemic of 2020. Oh, I remember the great takeover of the baseball card industry. Oh, when Fanatics came in, you don't know Fanatics, do you? And by then, maybe we'll be in Player One, and there'll be videos and NFT. I don't know, but this is still an amazing story. I don't think we realize the impact. And again, what I mean by that is this deal has been announced, but we don't know what's going to happen. Like listening to this video earlier, a lot of nostalgia in Topps, right? Nostalgia in Topps, and I feel for Topps, but I don't know. I'm kind of embracing this Fanatics taking over the world Borg assimilate model, I guess maybe. But we'll see. We will see. On Sports Collectors Daily, there was not much new, exciting news here today. I didn't see anything that jumped out at me, and I hope I'm not missing anything. I hope my buddy Bobby didn't write anything that I didn't pull or put some attention on this week. Just seems like some of the same stories. Nothing super exciting I missed out on there. I will now talk a little bit about Panini. Panini had some pretty good, products sold this week. Basketball, football, all sold out as kind of as expected. I think next on the sale there is this basketball set, or that sold out today too, didn't it? Yeah. We had the complete set coming. That's going to be another one. Yeah, this sold out. The complete set of the women's sold out today. I didn't even see the Dutch oven. That went fast. And then here in the blockchain, it was a quiet week in their blockchain world. They only have the baseball out there, but expect UFC. And then I think you're going to see soccer after that. I will say a lot of my attention and NFTs has been towards these two products, this NFT football and this other NFT football. So we'll see how those go. Can I register my team now? No, I cannot yet. So I will just go ahead and close. Last other video I kind of brought my attention was even Lucas Tigers and Bronze, one of the pandemic sports card regulars. These guys have been chugging away. They are the, I'm going to give them the Iron Man. These are the Cal Ripken of content creators, putting out content every day for over a year. They had a great conversation tonight with the Suto sisters, I believe it was, talking about crypto and NFTs. And I thought this was really good, also generational, to get a perspective from the younger generation on crypto and NFTs. Okay, with that, I'm going to go ahead. I don't think I have anything else I want to hit on here at a high level. I'm going to stop my share. I'm going to go in here and see if I got a little audience here already. Got a few people in the room. Good day, everybody. Theodore, no more guests. It's killing your channel. So I'm going to disagree because I don't really care about the channel and what other people think. I like it. I like the guests. And I actually think this is growing pretty well for week 2. I think I got a lot of good feedback from people. I think, people still don't know what's going on. Most people have no idea the show's going on at night. Give me a month or two. We'll get the momentum going. Bobby, great to see you, man. I was watching you earlier. We love listening to you and Carlos on Friday nights. Will Vegas be on this live? Yes, he will be here, man. He is here in the room, man. I have to say, I can't wait to get him on. Let me just crush through these. Vegas is chilling. Yeah. Yep. Red Chili Peppers don't give away. Okay, man. I might just be quiet and let Vegas talk. Contact. Okay. So, can't David, content creators, do you know the concede that sounds? Summit, LOL. It does. The Owners Club NFT looks dope. It does look pretty interesting, doesn't it, Jenna? And there's another one on NFT Draft. Another one looks a little cheaper. Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. Okay, so without further delay, let me go ahead and just bring him in. I will say, guys, this is gonna be a late. We're not staying short tonight. We're gonna go as long as we can. Chris, how are you doing, man?
Pretty good, man. How's it going?
I am doing okay. I'm healthy.
That's good. Excellent.
Enjoying life. The kids are good. The family's good. It's been a while since you and I have spoken. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. We beat COVID for a second time like a month and so ago, and we're about 95% back from that. And other than that, life's been grand, man.
Are you still same place, Vegas, right? Your background's changed a lot.
Yeah, the background has gotten a few updates, but definitely still in Vegas. Same
Good.
spot, basically. Yep.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest, dude. You are I'm a huge fan of yours. I know we've also had a friendship over the year, I'd say. But I love, like, when I think like the COVID, there was kind of going through this bonding ship with all these different YouTube channels. Yours came out of nowhere. And maybe for me, it came out of nowhere. But you came out with this interesting spin. You were funny. You're creative. You're electric. I will tell you, dude, I made purchases based on watching stuff that you talk about on your channel. I'm not going to lie.
How'd you do? How'd you do?
I think I've done fairly well. Like, for example, I remember, like, I'll give you an example. I remember watching your video one time about Kobe before people were hot on Kobe, and you're pointing out he was cheap on ComC. So I remember going on ComC and like clearing them out at like under 25, maybe under $30 for paper rookies. You know, I honestly never got them graded, never got around to that because of the whole shutdown. But I think I did really well on that. And there's a lot of, I'll tell you, here's the one thing I did not listen to you on. Okay. I did listen to
I know where you were going with that. A lot of people feel that way, but a lot of people did listen on Top Shot.
And let me just give the audience a little background there. So you, in my opinion, are the first one that brought that to my attention. Okay. And I'll even go back in my timeline. I remember Panini had blockchain. I'm thinking, this is just garbage. Panini, what the hell is this blockchain garbage? And they're shipping a physical and then shilling you with the other one. And then these NFTs come out and you were showing them to me, and I'm watching, I'm going, it's cool. And I technologically understood it, right? The non-fungible, the uniqueness. In fact, I think that's cool, man. I got a crypto background. But I was like, no, it's not for me. And I'll tell you what it was.
You even have a crypto background and you didn't put a few hundred in?
I didn't. And I'll tell you why. My kids did not like it at all. They're like, no, Dad. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to pass. And yeah, and that's what I'll say I like. I understand this is the first technology that really gives you the ability to keep something unique in the digital world, right? It gives you one of one. It's better in many ways than sports cards are in so many ways.
A lot of the time.
So again, I remember you talking about it, and you're right. Several of our friends did do well listening to you. And I'll go back, guys, if you want to, watch some of his videos last year where he's buying these moments for like $2 or $3 on his channel.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was the whole point for Top Shot for me. Like, coming from a poker background, I've already dealt with crypto for a number of years. Coming from an upside, in poker, you like invest in spots. Like, I'm going to call here pre-flop because we're deep. And if I hit a set, I'll make a lot of money. And that's kind of the situation that I was in with Top Shot. Like, I understood it from all the angles. And then it was just, how much money do I want to dedicate to this as a gambling investment? And I started off kind of light, a few $100. I won't miss that. That's entertainment money. And then by the end of it, before it blew up, I was $5,000 in, but I had nothing but good short, printed moments. And from there, obviously, it just went from 500 people, 1,000 people on the site to 400,000 people on the site, and it blew up. So, I mean, that was what was likely to happen. And the main thing that took me is that the NBA stood behind it. Because if this was just some people fly by night, no licensing, you're dealing with something completely different. But if you look at this and then the NBA said, all right, we're in, the NBA isn't going to just be like, hey, we're in, guys, cool, let's sign this and be done. They are going to do their due diligence. So that was the kind of the prop up for me that, all right, I can go ahead and keep throwing some money at this here and there.
Now, you said you did crypto, and this was your NFT. Did you get into any other NFTs? Like, did you do Crypto Kitties or the Bored Apes?
Well, the funny thing is that, being in poker, you're familiar with crypto. There's a lot of people that are into it at whatever on the side. And I knew about Crypto Kitties for a couple of years, but I just never took the time to get into it. It wasn't like I saw them pop up here and there, but I never was like, let me get into some Crypto Kitties. I'm like, breeding cats on the internet. All right. I mean, I hear you, but it's not like they were going for big money. You know what I mean? Even if they went for a couple $1,000s, is that the best that I can do? I had better shit going on at the time. I didn't take the time to get into Crypto Kitties. So I missed out on that.
Well, again, I understand, because I remember when you were talking about it, again, you made a good point about the NBA being behind it. Because again, that's what made me think about it as well. Because I'll even tell you this, I still don't understand the Bored Ape Yacht Clubs and the Crypto Kitties, because to me, there is no endorsement behind them, right? It's not like Marvel's behind it or the NBA's behind it. It's neat, interesting art, and that's cool. It is what it is. So I do like, and that's why what I got when I started in 2021, I finally jumped into Top Shot around March. I have been focused on licensed NFTs. I want them to have something behind them, some sports behind them.
Right.
because I enjoy the sports part, and then I can dip my toe in the NFT piece. But I think it's interesting because here's one I thought about: the NBA should make little caricatures of all the NBA athletes, right? And you could make those as NFTs and drop them in scarcity. How many people would want to not collect a Curry character? Instead of cards, just do characters.
But that's the thing, is that it's completely open. I mean, another thing that people don't, or at least they probably don't think about too much, is that Top Shot actually has a game behind it, hidden somewhere. I don't know when that's going to come out or how that's going to affect things, but those are actually game pieces that people are collecting at some point in the future. And to your point about the licensing versus not being licensed, I think that this is such a robust technology that you're going to find new licenses that you just don't know about yet. Because the reality is that for every 99 just trashy NFT projects that are just going to waste your money, there's one out there that's going to be amazing. And the reason why things like Bored Ape Yacht Club work is because they're completely community driven. It's not about the licensing behind it. It's about just how cool other people think it is that you have it. And those people are like the hive mind of that community. And then you have branding. So, Supreme or Gucci or whatever it is. Somebody rolls up and pays $1,500 for a Gucci shirt that I can get at someplace else for $100, same quality, but it doesn't say Gucci. So when I'm out at the club or I'm out at the, playing poker at the Wynn, they don't see the Gucci. They might look and be like, yeah, that dude's Gucci, but they don't have it on the shirt. So that's really what they're doing, is that they're creating new possible brands. So when you're looking at NFTs to invest in, you can go for something that's safe, that's licensed, and maybe it's good, maybe it's not. My opinion, and don't shoot me down here, I know that you like the Panini stuff. I think the Panini NFTs that they came out with, all the Prism, and I think they're basically just trash. I think it's low effort. I think it's trash. I think they're charging you $50 for a pack, and then they just have the same standard shit that they had with the regular cards. Yeah, it's on a blockchain, but then to sell it, you got to pay them 10% too. So it's just like it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel robust. And yeah, they did challenges and stuff, but to me, there's a lot better out there, like the Punks comics. Have you seen those at all?
No, I have not.
Meta Heroes. So there's a bunch of people that came out with Punks comic. That's what it was. It was basically they are taking crypto punks that they owned, and they're making a comic book based on that. And when the comic books came out, Ethereum was $4,000. So it was basically $800 per comic book. I just gambled on 3 of them because I knew one of the guys that was behind or part of the project. And I thought that the first comic book, which you would have a physical comic book because they're giving you the NFT of the comic, and then that was their draw also, is that they're going to send you the physical one. So for me, that was really cool, because if CryptoPunks become branded 10 years down the road, their first appearance in comic books, another industry that I'm interested in, that could be pretty cool. So I bought 3 of them, set it aside, gambled. Later on, they decided to introduce the Meta Hero universe. So for every comic book you had, they were going to give you a mint pass so that you could go and mint one of these hero avatars that are also going to be part of a game. Well, that $2,400 investment just a few months later is worth over $100,000.
Damn.
That's crazy. But that's the kind of upside that you can get here that you can't get in the sports card world. And that is why I love sports cards. I love action figures. I love comic books, but you're not going to find the upside anywhere else. And even though it's infrequent, when you get it, that home run makes up for all the other shit that you might have dabbled in that just ended up flushed down the toilet.
So let me ask you this. Like, I got so many questions. Are you worried that there's a bubble coming in NFTs? Because there has been tremendous money going in NFTs in the last quarter. I mean, billions of dollars in OpenSea alone.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Are you concerned that we might see a bubble? Because other factors like crypto keeps dipping back and forth, but it's relatively strong for the year. Sports cards have dipped and they've corrected a little bit. They're kind of holding on. So what do you think on NFTs though? Is it still worth the risk? Or
it is a bubble, but it's a slightly safer bubble. There's more stability in this bubble than other bubbles. And the reason why is because it's propped up by people in the community who have massive crypto gains. So when you talk about crypto, a lot of people made their money off of Bitcoin. Bitcoin to me, while it's still good and you might buy some and sit it over there, it's basically got minimal upside. Like if you buy 40,000 in Bitcoin, how long before you can make that 400,000 in Bitcoin? It's not going to be as fast as NFTs. I can tell you that. That's like the VHS to me, and DVDs are, whatever. We're looking at NFTs as like Blu-ray currently. So it's, you've got that stuff on the side, but you don't have anything that has as much upside. And the reason why the prices are so crazy is because you have people with massive crypto gains, and that is the community. So if I took just this stupid picture, if I go down to just regular mall people or whoever that's out there, they're normal people. They look at it and they're like, this is grocery money. I can't spend $200. This is grocery money for my family. Even if they had the disposable income, they wouldn't be likely to put it in this area unless somebody convinced them. But that's also why it's robust, is because all the people that are in the area, they know the possibilities of the technology and its use going forward, regardless if it stays in NFT avatars or becomes some other weird technology. Obviously, it's going to evolve over time. So then you have people that will adopt it slowly, and they'll dabble, and then they'll have some ups and some downs, and maybe something goes really right, whatever else. I mean, you're just going to have them come on over time. You know what I mean? Yep. One thing, and I think that's one thing that they're doing that's really well at Dapper, is because now not only do they have Top Shot, they're coming out with UFC at some point. They just came out with Dr. Seuss beta. Dr. Seuss, so you can have
is
all
that
this
out
cool
now?
Well, it's in beta, basically.
Okay, so you're a beta
but
tester?
You can't get it yet. No, I haven't got access yet, but hopefully I will at some point. Okay. But the point is that you're taking something that's new technology and you're sort of disguising it as something that people can digest. You know what I mean? It's like, I can't eat this food, but if you put a bunch of cheese on it, then I might be more likely to be able to digest that, because I like cheese a lot more than the distaste.
So I want to ask you, I got, again, so many questions. I want to walk through some of these things. I'm thinking in my head in the year, okay?
Yeah.
Top Shot came, big boom in January, February, chilling. You still have Top Shot. Are you still participating in Top Shot?
I am. I am not like on there every single day trading or anything, because it has sort of, obviously it's going to have a period of cooling off, but it definitely has a massive following, and it's just going to get better over time. So Top Shot is kind of in like hockey card mode, where it's just kind of slowly and steadily increasing, and it'll probably blow up again at some point. It had another little boom just recently. So now, stuff has.
You were very involved with the Top Shot. You used to have the guy on your show all the time. Do you still talk to the people there? Are you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay. Definitely keep in touch with those guys. I would say that as soon as Top Shot has more for me to do, I will be very active with Top Shot. But as far as day to day, I just look at stuff and basically just focus on other NFT areas because they're more interesting at the moment.
My thoughts on Top Shot, what I loved about Top Shot was that anybody could get in, and you had this ability that if you got in, you had the chance of something great. Right. What I don't like about Top Shot today, I don't like the collector scores at all, because what it really does, it just makes tiers of, if you're rich, you get richer. If you're in the middle, you're basically scrapping to get up. And if you're at the bottom, you're at the bottom. I don't like that. I wish they would change it, but I do like the utility. I like the WNBA. They brought that in. I think their challenge with UFC, and here's what I think the problem is, they want to put really good violent images. Because let's be honest, if they put that out there, we're going to spend a lot of money for it. I'm not going to lie. That's terrible to say, but we'll pay money for a guy letting his nose busted or something like that.
Sure.
And I have a feeling they're probably getting pullback that they can't do it, or that UFC doesn't want to license that. So I think that's why they're delayed there. And I hope they do something else, because I do look at them as they really put NFTs on the market. Now, my next one I'll ask you about, Topps. Okay, so Topps did Wax last year.
Yeah. And
they did the NBA, the baseball thing. And I know you weren't a fan of that then. And I'll tell you, I'm even more disgusted now, because it appears that Topps has abandoned Wax completely.
Wax is not that good overall.
Why?
I would just because it's in its own little cloister, and it doesn't have much flexibility. If I want to get my money out of Wax, I have to go jump through 80 hoops.
Yeah,
and I don't think the NFTs that they have on there are high quality. It's just like a little picture. Even with Street Fighter, when Street Fighter came out, I threw $300 at it. I mean, what I can buy cards off the marketplace that they get a cut of and then craft them into slightly better cards. What kind of shit is that? I want to fight. It's Street Fighter, not Street Crafter. You know what I mean? This ain't Martha Stewart, buddy. I want to fight.
you want to get the character and put it in a game. And have the winner gets the NFT, right? That'd be awesome.
That's my problem with Wax, is that they have all these cool NFTs. They even came out with Megadeth and all this other stuff. And I was like, yeah, but not really, because I'm just going to look at this little square that might be animated. I can't do anything with it. With Top Shot, those are actually 3D. Whenever you have an NFT display, you'll be able to put that on your table and it'll be like here.
So you see now, one thing and I agree with you on wax. Like I think the crypto part makes it too challenging. I think that's why Topps walked away from it. They're like, because you're right. In order to get the money out, although you had to go through wax, and that was confusing to people. And if wax price went up and down, it affected your NFTs. Okay, what about Funko? Did you see what Funko has been very successful on there because they're doing physical redemptions?
Now that makes sense to me. That is a lot better because as a physical Funko Pop collector, I'm going to onboard to that a lot faster. If you take something like wax, which I said is in its own cloister, and then you give it the ability to branch out or be more dynamic, then it becomes more attractive. So I didn't get into the Funko Pops on there. I don't really collect Funko Pops, but if they had the ability to redeem for a physical one, or if there was other cool stuff that made it more diverse, I would be in totally, because that makes it more appealing.
And I think that might be a good play because I was talking to another Funko person. I don't know Funko at all, but he was saying if you can get a limited one that's limited to 1,500 or something like that for under $100, it's probably a good value. And you can right now. They only have two. They have the Ninja Mutant Turtles out, and they have Bob's Big Boy, which I have no idea why the hell they did Bob's Big Boy.
It's funny though. It's funny.
Let me ask you, how about So Rare? What are your thoughts on So Rare?
It's not my thing. I'm not really into soccer. I've never really been that much into soccer. Like, I get that it's globally insane, but if it's on TV, I'll watch it a little bit, but I don't fangirl over soccer. I'm not out there trying to get autographs and go to games. It's just, so for me, it's not that attractive. And I don't think it's, from the people that I've talked to, it's not necessarily as exciting as it could be as a fantasy game. So, we'll see. I don't know, but I'm just not that into soccer.
What about now? Did you see the Owners Club?
Yeah, I have. I actually got lucky and got a Herbert, so we'll see.
How many packs did you get? Did you get?
I bought 2 packs, and then Jenna bought a pack and a bunch of single cards, and she got pretty lucky too. She got a Gronk and she got a Trevor Lawrence. So once they're able to be bought and sold on OpenSea, we'll see what the market shapes up for that stuff. It's really all going to be on that team, whether they can execute their strategy before people are sick of it. So if it ends up being good, it could be very good. People love football, fantasy football, using the cards to build a team. Yeah. It sounds cool. And being able to sell, like if I can go sell my Herbert for 5 Ethereum, and get 15K out of it or something, I'm selling my Herbert.
Yeah, I agree with you. So for the audience, I think this to me has the best potential. I love the NFT fantasy football idea. Now, I would like for them to have been licensed, right? So it is a Herbert, right? Because then it would have some collectability as well. But this to me is very cool. Now, it's what my concerns are. It seems very generic that a lot of people are going to have the same teams because there's only 5 teams. Mm-hmm. The categories aren't broken down very much. And I guess mint numbers is your what breaks the ties and stuff like that. Also, I'm concerned about how they're going to do the prizes and money, but I am excited about it. Now, have you followed there's another one, NFT Draft. It's
that I haven't seen.
So it's the same concept. It's a fantasy football one, but it's a lot more detail, which I like because you have for the same thing. You have Kansas City QB. Well, you have Kansas City QB1, Kansas City QB2, Kansas City running back 1, running back 2. And then you can trade up NFTs. If you get 10 of the same, you can push those to get a rare one with more bonus. It's a lot more intricate. And it has several tournaments, prize pools, and wax. Again, like I said, both of those are really interesting to me, where I can do fantasy football and collectability in it at the same time.
I think it's really cool as an idea. And I think one of the things that I like about it is that, let's say in the interest of TOC, they have a little rough around the edges, no licensing. The cards still look nice. The art is cool. So I'll give them that, it's relatively attracactive. It's not like disgusting or anything, but they have the ability to change it because it's still in beta. You know what I mean? So even though it's playable, in another 6 months or a year, they can iron that out. And after a year, let's say they do really, really well. There's nothing saying that they can't do well enough to get licensing from the NFL if they can convince them. So, I mean, the upside is there. If I pay $200 for a pack, which is a little bit much, I'll say $40 a card is a little bit much, but nonetheless, I mean, still, I think it's worthy enough that $200 could be quite eclipsed if you get the right stuff. Like right now, like I said, Justin Herbert's one of the hottest quarterbacks, and people will have a reason to play lower end quarterbacks in fantasy football. So I think that adds value to like the lower end guys. If you just get like a trashy, whoever. I mean, I think she has not Zach Wilson, but Sam Darnold too. There might be a week where the Jets quarterback is a really nice play and you can sell them for the most that week, because there's going to be people that are seriously playing for the serious money that they end up having. So just,
So you think that those are priced a little high? Because I actually thought they were priced low, just because there's only here's the reality. I think there's 6,000 NFTs were released, if I'm not mistaken, or no, 25,000. I think were released.
Right. There was 4,000 packs and like a few thousand cards singly.
Yeah, 5,000. So 25,000 total. But my thoughts are there's a limit of how many people can play. And let's be honest, dude. If this thing takes off, there's going to be more people wanting to play fantasy football on this than there are NFTs.
Right. Like it probably won't go Top Shot viral, but even if it gets like a quarter of that, clearly the upside is there. But that's the gamble. You pay $200, you're paying basically $40 a card. And if you just have like the Raiders defensive team, you're probably only going to be able to get like 30, $20 for it or something, if that, unless it's really good one week. So, I mean, it's probably a fair price, but to me, $40 a card seemed a little, I was just like, I don't know, but whatever.
Well, I was thinking the numbers like, okay, without geeking too much here, I think there's 3 contests you can win. You can have 3 teams, right? So you could win it ultimately. I think it's $2,000 a week. So you win $6,000. Then you start calculating how much money you're willing to buy a team that's going to be a winning team to win at a maximum of $6,000.
Right. And how many other people are playing, et cetera, all this other stuff. Yeah, there's a lot
more
that goes
more
into
people,
it.
If they put more and more money in it and the pots are like, $10,000, $20,000 on the weekends, I think that drives the value of those NFTs up a lot.
Absolutely.
Which I think helps them out because, as you know, they get royalties every time these NFTs change hands. Right.
And yes. And that's like the whole strategy. If I was somebody that was behind one of these teams, I would have something that was very cheap, try to get it to be very viral, very attractive, and then just make a shit ton of money off of the secondary sales. Even if it's only like 7%, you're not hitting them for 10% like Panini. That will definitely drive value. I mean, look at the Punks comics. They've made millions of dollars off the secondary market. Because that stuff gone up to basically like 25 or 30K a comic. So they get a few $1,000s every time one sells. I mean, it's crazy.
Another thing I have to assume that is going to happen, and I hate to bring this up, is that you're going to have groups that are going to conspire to put together the best team, right? Like you have some cards, I have some cards, get some other people together. Let's put together the best team, win the pot, and split the money every week. So I think you're going to see this get very competitive very quickly. It's going to be interesting.
But as that is the case, let's say that 4 people pull together and they start crushing it. Somebody else is going to notice that. They're going to get their couple friends and they're going to put together, start crushing that. Pretty soon, that's going to be diminishing returns on the value of putting together the team. So then it's going to come down to the nooks and the crannies. And honestly, there's only 17 weeks in football, and it's really high variance. So even if you have the best team, you could completely just get roasted.
It's going to be fun.
We'll see, but it'll be fun. That's the one thing that I like. It could be very fun.
The crypto comic things you're talking about, where are those sold? Is that an OpenSea thing, or is that?
They're sold on OpenSea now. They sold out quite a while ago, but it's punkscomic.com. And then just look up Meta Hero Universe, which is the other project that's a part of that. Pixel Vault is the company.
Here's a quick question for you. Do you still believe Junk Wax Era 2.0?
Yeah, what do you mean? I mean, come on, man. Where are we? I mean, Panini is literally printing like 1,800,000 of everything that they're doing. Look at Select. Now Select is retail. We have 17 million parallels. The thing about it is that it's the hobby is community, right? Like we all love sports. We all love collecting. We did it since we were kids. Some of us didn't. We got there later. But the point is that is the spigot that is spitting out what we're collecting. So if you choose the wrong spigot, like Leaf, unless it's like an Al Bundy autograph, you're probably not going to get that much value back. But if you look at their Panini strategy, they're printing everything. They put out hundreds of sets a year and they shovel it down your throat. That's why people, when it comes out, it makes no sense to me. Hoops comes out. People want LaMelo rookies. So they go and buy the boxes for $400 to get that $100 to $200 LaMelo. And in 3 weeks, another set's out. And LaMelo's $35. You could have just waited, dummy. Your kids could have had Christmas. I'm just saying, value. They're just printing too much.
And it's only going to get worse, right? I mean,
absolutely.
With Fanatics, like I used to believe Topps and Panini kept each other in check. Now they both got to be getting drunk at the club together and going, print as much as you can, man.
Yeah,
I mean, why do they care?
You're the only person out there. You out there, if you buy it, they will sell it to you. That's the problem. They win anyway. If you open up product, you're basically chasing to break even or gambling to be up money. that is a problem.
Yeah.
Yes, it's good, but I prefer to trade with people, buy from personal collectors. I'll buy from the guy who spent $1,000 on the box and now he's selling me his LaMelo for $60. I do that all day. I have 20 LaMelos for the price of your box.
Yep. Yep. So what have you been? I mean, this is another argument. I'll be honest. For me, I got frustrated with the card market this year.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Yeah.
too hard to find stuff to rip with my kids, and I've started to embrace NFTs. I've started selling slabs that are over slab base cards, whatever, and buying NFTs. So to me, because again, there's visibility. You see how many are minted. You know more about the project than anything else. There's scarcity. There's collectability. Right. I like the community, so it's definitely helped me. What else are you working on? What other NFT projects are you in, or would you recommend?
I mean, it's hard to say. I wouldn't necessarily recommend any individual project because I would not want to steer somebody in the wrong direction. What I will say is if you're interested in NFTs and you're just at a sports card or collectible guy otherwise, and you have been on the fence or you hate them, whatever it is, get your head out of your ass. First of all, this shit is going to be part of the future. You may as well embrace it, get used to it, and start to get familiar with it now while it's insane, because it's going to go through phases and we don't know exactly what's going to happen. So I would say do your research and do your homework. Learn more about them. It's not boring and there's a lot of cool and fun stuff. And for me, I basically play home run ball right now, which is if I, mint some stupid ass NFT that cost me $300, once I hit that one that is good, that is going to make up for that by far, like the Punks comic stuff. $100,000 or more for $2,400 is insane. A lot of the time you spend $300 and then it's worth like $150 a day later. It's really on the team. So you research the team of people who are creating the NFTs. And then, if it's really popular or people already know it's going to be good, you have to find a way to battle to get the actual NFTs. So like, it's going to be money, but you have to fight. So there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of research. It's just basically a way of playing a more complicated game, because in sports cards, you buy into a break, you buy the player you want. There's more simplicity. The NFTs are definitely more complex, but you should get used to it. You should embrace it. And the upside, I'm trying to tell you guys, the upside, you won't find it anywhere else. Put it this way. I could have minted one Bored Ape for 0.15. At the time, that's probably $300, something like that, $300-$400. I decided not to. My friends were into it. Everybody was hyping it up. I just didn't do it. 2 months later, 3 months later, they're selling for $150,000 and Steph Curry's buying them for $180,000. You can't get that buying a fucking rookie card, buying a rookie card of LaMelo Ball right now. You're not going to get it. If you're going to get National Treasures, you're going to pay these dumbasses like Blez Bros $500 or whatever to get, LaMelo's team. And then you might get a LaMelo rookie on occasion, but most of the time you just get trash and they walk away with the money. So I don't like, as much as I love opening product, I don't like opening product.
Yep. That makes sense. I mean, it does make sense. It's crazy how that happens. And I agree. I first of all, when we talk about NFT projects, I like to get into pack drops. Sure. I have not gotten into these the Bored Ape or the different things because I don't understand them as much. I guess you're getting into a drop, but it's like a random minting drop, right? That's done really quickly. Where I like the packs where I'm going to open a pack and I'm going to get some randomness in that.
Remember I said what about opening stuff? It's fun sometimes. I do it every rare occasion, but I know going in that this is just entertainment money and I'm probably going to get roasted.
Here's a quick question. Can you explain the builder NFT that sold for millions? Does that make sense to you? What's the builder?
Okay, so again, there's a lot of people that have a lot of crypto gains, and the Boulder NFT is one of the oldest minted NFTs, and that's its only claim to fame. I would not buy that at all. I would be able to spread that around in other places. But to the person who has, millions and billions of dollars from crypto and they're going long on NFTs, they're not getting rid of it. If it makes sense to them because they think in 10 years it's going to be meaningful historically, then that's their bet. But that's the thing about NFTs is that there's so many bets that you can make in the space that have a higher upside. So for me, I wouldn't be buying the Boulder NFT for millions. I'm not going to sit here for 10 years with it, What's up, Dustin?
Yeah, man, got some new people. So let me ask you this too, Chris. When are we going to see you back on YouTube and putting out some content again?
It's hard to say, man. It's all about upside. Like I enjoy making the YouTube content, but I feel like I don't do anywhere near as much research now for that stuff. I just find vintage cards that I want to buy. I've been buying a lot of Magic the Gathering. I think that's
Mhm.
going to be great as a long-term play. Trying to buy moxes and just auto print stuff they're not going to print anymore. I've been buying select rookie cards. Like I just bought, like a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar PSA 5 rookie. I like to still hunt for the good deals out there, but I don't really do a lot of research, go to ComC, clean them out of this guy, send a bunch in for grading. The process is just so arduous versus finding a good NFT project, because once you find that, the upside there is very good. So it's actually very cool to see you on the TOC as well. So glad to see that. But
where are you hanging out then in the NFT world? Are you hanging out in Discords? Are you on
dude,
Instagram?
that's the only part about it that's kind of negative, is that information is so transient in the NFT space, and everything has such a short window because it all happens so fast that like I'm like literally like a zombie, just crackhead, eyes bleeding, haven't seen the light of day in a week, in Discord, just waiting for that piece of information that's going to make me 100K for $1, and it's out there, but you got to really have your eyes literally peeled back, and you're crying like those onions too. So it's just a lot of time spent for that shit, man. It is, but that's basically it. Hanging out in Discord, farming the hell out of Twitter. You never know when that next tweet's going to come, and it's either going to cost you $2,000 or make you $50,000. It's just a real weird world.
Now, do you watch any content providers in the NFT space? And I'll give you two that I follow. I watch Crypto Stash a little bit, who's very wax focused, but he does have some other projects. And then there's, I think, Bad Crypto Podcast with Nifty Blocks.
I don't really like, I know so many of the people just from being in Top Shot and just spending time, that like I mostly just get my information from Twitter and Discord. I don't really listen or watch. I watch more sports cards and comic book content. So I'll just fire either you or Dustin or Brad or whoever up, the people that I've known in that area. And just that is more of a calming thing for me, because I still really care and love those things, but the money just isn't there time-wise versus what you can do with the NFT. So that's all. I'm just basically trying to ride this opportunity till the wheels fall off, essentially.
Now we're talking NFTs. Let me ask you this: what about crypto? What do you think about? Is it Solana and Cardano? And
I know a lot of people like Solana. I don't really pay that much attention to basic crypto, like the coins and all that stuff. I know that some of it is good, and I'm probably missing out by not. But I'm really just focused on straight NFTs, not Solana NFTs. I know that some of those are good, and a lot of my poker friends seem to like them very much. But for me, there's just so many spider webs that, like, if I get more than like 5 or 6 of them, I start just getting less valuable at the other ones, basically.
Well, I agree with you. That's why for me, when I got into the whole first thing I thought was amazing, I think people need to understand this. There is no one blockchain.
No.
Right? Like people think, oh, it's the blockchain. It's not like the internet, like there's one internet. There are thousands of blockchains. I mean, thousands of these blockchains. Each one has their own project and stuff like that. Many of them use Ethereum or use
Ethereum is the main one for the NFTs.
Or Flow. The thing I've been learning, like I watched, I think it's Ray Wag has some really good stuff out there. He talks about crypto and NFTs.
Right.
But what I've realized, what blew my mind too, like I was using Top Shot. I had no idea that Top Shot has tokens. Right, they use the Flow token in the back end. Had no.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, if you look at the code, it's hidden in there.
And then Solana, what's special about that is it's supposed to be able to leverage the Ethereum, but without the gas fees.
Without the gas fees, right? That's
lower gas fees. Which that's another thing that's kept me away from. I don't understand gas fees. Like, why would someone pay hundreds of dollars for $100 transaction? That just blows my mind.
Yeah, it's really crazy. And to me, I think that we're at a point where people are trying to figure out ways around that, which is one of the things that Punk's comic revolutionized. Essentially, they created something called Mint Pass. So for every comic that you had purchased, you were given the ability to purchase a Mint Pass, and then the Mint Pass, you go and mint at their site. So there's no gas war, there's no fighting other people for it, there's no like exploitation. And then you could take that and either hold on to it, and you could mint it for one of the Meta Hero avatar game pieces that they have. So, and of course they do a lot of weird games theory stuff where they have other reasons for you to hold one or sell one. So it's kind of like a cool game in and of itself. But so that's what people are starting to do, because if I'm the guy making the NFTs and I put it out there for 0.08, couple $100, whatever that is at the time, and then somebody else comes up and they're fighting for them, right? Let's say we make 5,000 of them and people are paying gas to at $400 or $500 just to pay me 200. I lose money. The gas people make the money. Unless I'm the gas guy trying to scam everybody on the side, it don't make sense, So I don't want to just sell and then get secondary. I would rather do something like the Mint Pass. So I think that is going to change over time, because it's really a lot of nonsense.
That seems awesome. It does. It makes a lot of sense to me. Now, have you played it all with VV and their?
I have. I wasn't at first. I knew about Vive a long time ago, and the only things they had on there was like a Ghostbusters gold emblem, and they had a couple of Batman that didn't look great, and their claim to fame was augmented reality, put the Batman in your room and we're going to have a lot of cool brands and IP. So I didn't really get into it, but the comic books on there have been doing really well. I only was able to get 2 in the Spider-Man #1 drop the other day. I 2 went through, so you can't buy 20 of them or anything like that. So I think there's good and bad to it. Perhaps they carve out their niche with their IPs and their augmented reality as that changes. But the more augmented reality changes and everybody's got Oculus or whatever the hell it is, then that might also put a hurting on Vive. So I don't know. I think it's okay. I'm tentative. I'm dabbling, but I don't have a lot of hopes for it in the long term, and I could be wrong.
Well, it's told that they're supposed to do a bridge to the Ethereum to OpenSea at some point.
That would definitely be helpful.
The comic books, I think, are awesome because, again,
absolutely.
It's funny. I love comics. Same. I don't grade comics because I don't want to put them in something I can't freaking read them again. You know what I'm saying? So to me, these NFTs where I can read the comic anytime I want to? I think those are great. So I've been snagging those, and I again, like you said, you basically buy them, and it's kind of like packs where then you get a sign, you can get a random, you get a common, you can get exclusive, all sorts of stuff. So I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, I think that there's so the other interesting thing is we were talking. My friends were talking about the comic books the other day, and there is some limitation to them. There are so many copies of them. There is a world where somebody like CGC could make an NFT to go with your serial numbered graded comic book, so that you could end up selling or fractionalizing that. What if I have $1 million comic book and I want to put that on a fractional site as an NFT and then sell pieces of that? I don't need Otis. I don't need Rally Road. Yep. I'll have it in my possession physically, and then I'll fractionalize it. Yep. That makes more sense to me from an emotional connection standpoint than just buying a piece of theirs. Yep. So there's a lot that's going to come. And I honestly think that corporate branding is something that hasn't really even touched NFTs. There's all kinds of access things that you can do for any sort of a company. There's all kinds of ways that NFTs are going to be more than what they are now as corporations come in and they start to make games. They start to make access and concert tickets and other weird things, or maybe your favorite restaurant, you can eat there twice a week, and then you have this awesome NFT that gives you random t-shirts and whatever else. There's so many ways to play it.
Yep. Well, somebody mentioned to me that he said they think that where you'll see that crossovers in the marketing, you get a grocery store and they have that damn little thing you have to swipe to get the discounts.
Yeah.
He said eventually you'll have a thing you swipe, but that'll be to your global NFT account, and your NFT will be like an avatar of you, and it'll follow you to all the locations. And the more you use your avatar, the more kickback stores will give you, right? So it'll be kind of an opt-in thing where it's my avatar, my information, you're going to get it, but I want something in return. Because right now, consumers they're just selling their privacy information for discounts. But if you have an avatar and an NFT around it, then that avatar gains value because your avatar has experience, consumer history experience, and so forth, and you get some consumer value from the point of sale. So I agree. I think I'd be an idiot to think that the future is not going to change and that digital stuff's not going to be here. Like I said, I started off by talking about cryptography. I remember back in I think it was early 2000s, I did a project on using public key infrastructure, which is a technology to do online voting. Because the big thing then after 2000 was, how do we let people vote so we protect their anonymous vote, but also make sure it's unique? So I understand the value of what we're talking about. And that was 20 years ago, right? So where we are today with NFTs and technology is only the beginning. I will say this: in defending my Prism NFTs,
Okay.
I absolutely agree with you. It's absolutely lazy of them that they did not even make anything new. Okay, but I damn think they're cool. Like for the first time, I collected the entire set of Prism for less than if I bought a damn box of Prism.
Yeah, and maybe they have a following in the future, or there's some world where. But I mean, yeah, I mean they're not bad. They're not. I mean, just the structure to me is off. That's all.
What I think it is again, first of all, Panini. The Fanatics thing concerns me. Like Panini's got to be sweating, right?
Now, but I'll tell you one thing from an emotional standpoint. Whenever I go, I didn't mean to interrupt you here, but this is a quick thought. When I go to grab a Panini project now, there's this lurking, like swimming notion in my head that they don't even have the license in a couple of years. I put it back. You know what I mean? Like, what is this? This is trash. This is Spalding at Walmart.
Well, I almost feel bad for them, but I want to remind everybody, I don't feel bad for them in the sense that they still are an international sticker company that's been around for years. Right?
Absolutely.
And if they're smart, like I'll tell you, and I do think they're a smart business company, they should take their brands to the NFT market space. But where they need to do is they need to add utility. Now, in my opinion, if you compare them to Top Shot, they should have greater strength with the players than Top Shot. Like Top Shot got players to support it because Top Shot was giving them packs, and Top Shot, the players were having fun with it. But let's be honest, they have contracts with Kevin Durant and Stephen Curry. They could have them do blockchain events where they could have, what is it, utility with you get jerseys or autographs or relics from them or meet and greets or tickets. They could do the same thing. It's just if Panini thinks about it. Same thing with Topps. Like if I'm Topps, with them being wiped out with the sports card business, they need to really think about, they have a brand. They could take that brand into the NFT market, in the collectible market space. They really could still do a lot. It's not the end for them.
The thing is that I believe that a lot of those companies will just kind of dabble until it makes sense to go full force, is because they have like a tried and true method, and that makes their investors money or whatever, and they've got to show that cash to the investors. And it's just like the tried and true method is good until it isn't. And how long it takes people to adapt and adopt is pretty insane. Like having an open mind doesn't mean that everybody else that makes, the decisions will have an open mind. So you could be at Topps going, guys, we're missing out on the billions. We could position ourselves for the next 20 years. This is 52 Topps again. And then the rest of them are like, I don't think so. All the white politicians that are like, I don't think so. Maybe next time. Give this guy a demotion.
I agree with you. In fact, I hate to say this. I would love to hear what's going on in Topps offices, because if you think about it, that the people had to be there thinking, we're going public. We're going to be on the stock exchange. Freaking exciting. I'm vesting. And they go to what? That's not happening. To we're losing our license. To where the hell is the future? So you're right. Although we might from the outside go, just do this. There are people there going, what the hell am I doing? And the company's got looking at protecting its assets. They know they got great value. They've got names and stuff like that. So that's what I'm saying. The whole Fanatics thing is going to cause some uncertainty for the next few years until that gets ironed out. And I'm Fanatics. I wait. I don't buy Topps or Panini for a while.
Right. See, for me, Topps had gotten boring. I mean, I like baseball. I don't watch it as much out of all the sports. I prefer other sports. It's definitely slower for me. I watch big games or whatever, like football. But when you look at the card design, it's like the same shit every year. It's some weird, that was part of the fun of Topps back in the day. The next year was going to be completely different. I love 1973 Topps. I love 1987 Topps, worthless as it is. These things just make a more lasting impression. And then you get all of these 2000 mid-late, and they all look the same. So, I mean, they were already lazy, but it's crazy to not have Topps to associate. And another point about what you were talking about earlier, Apple, I don't know if you've heard this or not, but they're making it so that you're going to be able to have your license on the Apple, some sort of a weird Apple app, so that you can just show your license to somebody or whatever else. How the hell could that not be a non-fungible token in the future? That's like the definition of something you would use it for. So it's all coming around, man. If you guys hate NFTs, at least be open-minded. You might actually make some money too.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's funny too. I was talking about this the other day on my channel. I'm a huge Star Trek fan, love Star Trek. And Topps has those little dumb dolls they're coming out with, which I think are absolutely ugly as hell. And in the back of my head, I'm sitting there going, I just don't want to deal with packaging. I don't want to deal with having it around my house. What am I going to do with that? You know,
Right.
what if I want to sell it? But then Vivi came out with the Star Trek ships,
Right.
and the Borg ship. I'm like, shit, I'm getting one of those.
Dude, I have a ton of Star Trek toys. I got the Borg ships. I got all kinds of stuff.
Part of it was, and this virtual stuff, I don't have to worry about storage. You know,
Exactly.
I get as much as I want. So it's just, I guess it's a different mindset. I know there are people who like the physical. To me, I like the collecting. I do like the collecting side. I like scarcity, and I like numbers. I like to see how many there are and which one I have. That makes a lot of sense to me. So
that's part of the problem. You know, I love action figures. Like, let's say He-Man just came out on Netflix and I wanted to get some of the new He-Man toys or whatever, but they mass produce that shit so much. And yeah, some people are going to open them, but the reason why the ones from the 80s, other than the nostalgia, are worth so much is because the print runs were lower, first of all, because most of that stuff was pretty niche overall.
Yep.
But there weren't as many people who just bought to collect. There were definitely people who bought to collect, but now it's like pretty standard for a lot of people to just buy and hold. So if you have over print runs of that stuff, they're only like $10 or $15 to begin with, or whatever. Honestly, a lot of that stuff's overpriced, like $25 for an action figure at Target. Like, no thanks. I mean, you're really dealing with, you know, a reason why I stick with vintage. I stick with the vintage stuff. I stick with the mid to higher end stuff. I stick with the stuff that's lower end that I care about. You know, but and honestly, the digital stuff really does have so many attractive qualities, from scarcity to not taking up space in your house to instant buying and selling to, you know, provability. I mean, it's just, there's so many benefits to it. But the other thing is, the other side of that coin for me is that we still live in reality. Like, I need to go into my bedroom and enjoy what I see. I need to go to my collectibles area and be able to pick something up and touch it and enjoy it. And that's part of it. So, I mean, I think it's definitely not going to be everything's digital, but we can definitely shave off the low end of the physical for sure.
Yeah. And again, like I was talking earlier, the article, it really is the golden age of collecting. There's so much collectible stuff out there.
So much.
I mean,
even vinyl, man, vinyl from the 90s is insane, because all the big bands from the grunge era, whatever, forward came out, and those are obviously massive bands, but vinyl was declined. CD was the jam. So you would definitely, you know, do well to buy old vinyl from that time if you can find it cheap. Because if you want like an original Nevermind copy Nirvana, they're like $300-400. Crazy. You know what I mean? The vinyl just wasn't a lot of it. So,
and now I hear VHS tapes are coming to being popular, which blows my mind. I think I gave away a bunch of those recently.
I think that in VHS, horror movies have always sold, because there's a lot of horror collectors and they don't care about that quality. They love that shit, that analog.
Yep.
I think that there's a lot of still stupid, like Beanie Baby type stuff. You look at eBay, it's like $50,000 for the Black Diamond Cinderella. That's all just jokes. That's trash. It doesn't exist. But people have definitely started to pick up sealed VHS copies, because if you want it in the best condition you can get in. But, you know, I would say if you guys are monkeying around with VHS, I would be a bit wary. And horror movies generally sell if you're a reseller. So, but yeah,
not my thing, but
not my thing either.
It's just amazing. I'm sure you follow Dustin. Dustin's doing the retro video games now.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah, I love that.
Which again, to me, I just like playing damn video games so much. I couldn't keep them in the case, you know.
Yeah, so I think for me, it's just the nostalgic feel. Because I mean, I could, you know, obviously we could just have whatever video games we want. I mean, I don't want to go out and buy a TurboGrafx 16 for $400 and then buy like, you know, like what is the game, Newtopia, which is their copy of Zelda, for like $150 or something, or Splatterhouse. So I mean, to have the video games is cool, but I played so much of them as a kid that like I just enjoy having them in nice condition. If I can get Excite Bike, which I got back there, that's in really nice shape in the box, I don't care about the grading of it. And that's another thing we haven't touched on yet, is all the shady shit that's going on in those industries. Even sports cards with Heritage Auctions. You can't trust Heritage Auctions and Jim Halpern or whatever his name is. I mean, the trail, did you watch that video about Carl Jobst or whatever?
No.
Yeah, about the $3 million sale of Super Mario Brothers or whatever it was. There's a big white paper trail, and that dude was actually the dude that caused the coin bubble back in the 80s. So I would suggest that you watch that, and you'll never want to deal with Heritage Auctions again.
Is this a guy who basically owned what he bought or something like that. He partially owned.
Well, that's it. There's like a string behind the scenes of guys who were going out and they were buying up all the sealed video game supplies, and then they were part of a couple different companies that were going to sell through heritage auctions. Then they're all like entwined. So you have guys that are part of WATA, but then again also part of Heritage, and Heritage was going to sell WATA graded games before WATA ever started grading games. So like there's just a lot of like not very moral stuff going on. But for me, I think that there's like multiple tiers, because if I'm going to buy Super Mario Brothers, I might pay $300 for a good condition one, but I'm not the guy who's rolling out and paying a couple of $1 million for it unless I think I can flip it for a couple million more. And I'm pretty sure that the other guy that would have paid that much is probably watching the same auction. There's not that many guys when you get up to that high of a price. So there's a lot of manipulation and exploitation going on in a lot of these markets, sports cards as well. I mean, I never bought stuff from PWCC if I could help it. Never deal with Rick Probstein either. Another shady ass. So it's just, deal with normal people, deal with regular people on eBay, look for organic auctions, but all these big moving machines, there's just too much exploitation going on.
No, I think it's true. I mean, someone did a video earlier about that. All the auction houses have some shady like history to them. Like the fact that they even started, it's kind of like, well, I think someone made the comment, like, why aren't they at Sotheby's? It's like because Sotheby's said no to the shady shit they were selling, so somebody made these auction houses. You know what I'm saying? Like they were designed to sell stuff that real auction houses won't accept. Right. Kind of scary when you think about that.
And that's when I stopped dealing with Probstein, is because he had knowledge that a sealed Magic the Gathering, I don't know if it was alpha or beta, but a starter deck, which is worth just, 50, 80, whatever, thousands of dollars, massive amounts. And he knew that somebody else had sold it. It had gone back to that person as resealed. And then he took it from that person that resealed it again and sent it to him. And he sold it knowingly. And you can watch that video as well out there. Right. So to me, if he's willing to do that, I don't want to deal business with him at all, because there's probably going to be shill bidding and all kinds of shady shit. I like stuff to be as organic as possible. Yeah. I don't like dealing with idiots.
Yeah. Sadly, I hate to talk about it, but there's just no punishment though. Right. Like the guy from 2008. Exactly. There's no punishment. No one's going to jail or facing any crime or any time or any real penalties.
Exactly.
And I don't know. Like the thing yesterday where the guy from 2018, all his stuff was confiscated for being fakes, and they just gave it all back to him. So
which is ridiculous in and of itself.
It's all in the market. It's which again, this is why I like the NFTs. You can't counterfeit a freaking NFT.
Right. And there's still stupid stuff going on there with the bots and all kinds of dumb shit, scams, just spam, just whatever. So, I mean, regardless of what market you're in, if there's a way to make money easily, people are going to do it, whether it's Russian bots on a poker site or Russian bots on OpenSea or whatever it is, you're just going to always have that. Yeah. So that's one reason why I just try to keep it straightforward and not deal with people who have a shady past.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. First of all, I want to thank you, Chris, for being here. And I want to have you back anytime you want to come back. We'd love to have you. I also know a lot of other friends in the channel or in the chat have been watching and probably going to reach out to you, because a lot of people, Chris, just so you know, man, you're a positive person in the hobby. You've made a lot of friends.
Thank you.
Love your content. I appreciate you always responding to my questions over the year, getting back to me. I assume you're doing well out there with poker and Vegas life. Are you going to the card show going on?
I'm not going to the card show because I think it's, this again, everybody's got their opinion, but because I've been through COVID twice, fully vaccinated, I understand what the consequences are if you do get it and you're unvaccinated, and versus being even half vaccinated. And I think that the most intelligent thing that I can do for myself and other people is to just not engage in large gatherings. So I'm not at the summit. I'm probably not going to the World Series of Poker. Just not involved with that stuff. And I appreciate your kind words, my friend. And honestly, I apologize to you guys for not making more videos. But to be honest, I would spend 4 to 5 hours a day when I did make videos every couple of days. And it's just not a thing that I can do while I'm doing this other thing right now. But if anybody wants to invite on a show, a couple hours in an evening, chatting, whatever else, I'm always down for that, guys.
I'm definitely going to have you back, because I know I'm going to see your face on some people's channels. I'm going to say one of my favorite videos that you did, man, was the live video where you're cracking the card.
You know what? That Kareem came back a PSA 6.
Oh man, I love that video.
That was great.
I love that video. You're just so open and honest. Like I said, Chris, thank you so much, man, for being here tonight. I really mean it.
Man. It's
And I
because of
look
my
forward
better
to-
half. She really does. Because I'm a
Awesome.
bumbling idiot.
I was going to ask how she's doing. I'm glad she's doing well as well. Tell her I said hi. I forget her name, but I remember seeing her in a lot of
Jenna,
your videos.
she's right there, man. She's in the chat.
Is it Jen?
Yeah, Jenna.
Oh,
she's in there
okay.
the whole time.
I was wondering who this wonderful Jenna was. Jenna, thank you for being here. It's great to see you.
There she is.
But again, and someday when normal does return, I'm out in Vegas, man. I want to catch up with you, grab drinks, take you guys out to dinner. And if you're ever in the DC area, you're stuck in an airport or something like that, let me know, man.
Absolutely, we'll do,
I'd
man.
love to catch up.
Thanks for having me, dude.
I didn't do a lot of Q&A in the chat. I really hope everybody's doing really well. Thank you guys for being here tonight. I'm going to take the weekend off. Tomorrow is 9/11, and actually it is right now. And I'm just going to take it as a day of just kind of peace, reflection. I will not be on YouTube or social media. I'm going to spend some time with my son. I hope you all out there do well. One thing I'll say just on a closing note, 20 years of reflecting is just remember we're all human beings. We're all human beings first. So, share the common things we have, whether it's collecting, but also remember we share a lot more in common than we share apart. Chris, again, thank you, man. I'd give you a big hug if I could.
Anytime, man.
I'll talk to you guys later. I'm going to go to the
hug.
stream. Take care, everybody. Have a great evening. Did I kick the wrong button?